Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming and to Watch Dogs Legion and to London. It's just after 12:30 in London, well in Watch Dogs Legion, and it's a nice clearish kind of day that you can see the moon and it's not raining, so that's a good thing. Anyway, today's crazy gaming news, and it's pretty crazy. So first off, and you'll understand once I start talking about it, this subject doesn't actually affect me in any way, but it's obviously gaming news, so I'm going to talk about it, and once I talk about it, if you've ever watched this channel, you'll understand why it doesn't affect me, and I'll explain in the video why it doesn't briefly, but it doesn't. Anyway, so Grand Theft Auto 6 is due out soon. It's a very popular franchise. I've played it way back in the day a little bit, but it's not something I've played a lot. So although I'm sure a huge amount of people are very excited about it, I'm not excited about it. It doesn't matter to me, but you know, it's a big game, so I understand that. But the thing out of that's come out is there's been a conversation going on in a few different outlets about whether it will come out as more money than current premium games come out as, or AAA games. So the cost of a AAA game now might be $70, and they're talking about whether it will be $100 minimum, and that's a lot of money. It's an awful lot of money. So quite a few things in that. Firstly, the reason they've cited as the fact that it might start a trend of $100 games is because of the way the gaming industry has gone, which is all the failures of woke games and rubbish games and live service flops, and they need to claw back the money. Now, firstly, who cares? Because that's not gamers' fault. It's not that the gaming industry has got less gamers. In fact, it's probably got more than ever. It's just that they've made rubbish games and spent too much money on rubbish games, and that's why they've lost money. But that's not something that's really passed on to the consumer, because it's their choice. They've been greedy in making live service games that they didn't need to make because they just desperately wanted to make extra money off gamers, and it didn't work. And they've thrown out loads of woke rubbish games that were either rubbish, like Redfall or Forspoken, or games that were woke, or both, and spent tons of money on them without really thinking whether they were any good, and they've lost money on those. But again, that's not gamers' faults. So why gamers should then be charged for the fact some gamers have bought these rubbish games and these live service games, so gamers have already paid in money for some of these awful games and rubbish games anyway, and now they're saying, oh, you know, we've lost loads of money, so we're going to charge even more because we greedily tried to do what we wanted, make live service games that didn't need to be made, throw loads of woke rubbish into games that we didn't need to, and now we've done that and we've lost a bit of money. Rather than accept responsibility or change our thinking, we're just charging more, eh? So it's bad for that level anyway. I think Grand Theft Auto 6, they've said they're going to tone down some of the humour, and I can't speak about that because, like I said, I've not played that game for a very long time, so I can't say what the humour was like in it particularly, and I can't say that I've seen any footage of whether it's been toned down, so you'll have to say in comments whether that's true and whether you think it's going to be true. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be a very popular game anyway, regardless of. And I think everything now is slightly toned down, so you know, we've seen it with everything, so in life, so I think that's normal. But I think £100 for a game is ridiculous. As I said at the beginning, this whole topic doesn't affect me because I don't play Grand Theft Auto and I never buy a new game. I've not bought a new game since PlayStation 2 times, and I wouldn't. Even if Watch Dogs Legion, which is my absolute favourite game, and it was a Watch Dogs Legion 2, which it never will be, came out and it was shown and that it was the best game ever, and it was better than Watch Dogs Legion. It had all the things of Watch Dogs Legion, but more things, more content, everything I could wish for as a person that loves Watch Dogs Legion. I would not buy it at full price. Even if it was at a £50 price, I wouldn't buy it, because there were so many great games from a year ago that you can pick up for £20 in PlayStation sales, or even further back for even cheaper. So I wouldn't buy it, and that's the game that I love the most, and I would absolutely die for the fact they made a second game that was following on from this game. I don't mean a woke, weird remaster of it or something that wasn't the same, but if they made a continuation of this that was exactly the same but more, I would love it, but I wouldn't buy it at new price. So that's just me, and I can't afford to. I can't afford to throw money out on new games, so I don't. So it doesn't really affect me, but I know plenty of people do, and it's a lot of money. Even if you work in, I'm not talking about a minimum wage job, a basic wage job. If you work in an average normal job, £70 for a game is a lot of money. £100 for a game, and £100 plus, because you can be sure if they start £100 games, then they'll end up having DLCs and the gold supreme editions and the early editions that are going to be 120, 130. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Some people don't earn that in a week. It's just disgustingly crazy. And if games cost that much money to make, then cut back on how much you spend on gaming and don't make so many rubbish games. Think of all the millions and millions of pounds they spent on all these games I've named earlier, which I won't name again, but that fell down straight away. Concord is the most obvious example of Suicide Squad and Forspoken and that they could have saved and not been worrying about money at all. But the gaming industry is just incredibly greedy. So the next point, or the final point, is that it's quite possible that if they do release Grand Theft Auto 6 at a higher price point, whether it's £100 or whether it's more or slightly less, it will sell a lot because it's Grand Theft Auto. But that doesn't mean most games will, because number one, most games aren't huge franchises that are very popular, and most games, even if they are very popular or were, like Dragon Age is a really good example. People now know what to expect in new games. They know they may be woke, they know they may be toned down, they know they may be rubbish, they know they may be a hash up from what was once meant to be a live service game, and people won't buy them. Even at £70, people won't buy a new game as much now because they know what to expect, and they'll look online and they'll look on YouTube and they'll look at various reviews and they'll think, maybe not, eh? So for £100, all they're going to do is mean less people are willing to buy new games. And like I said, they may buy Grand Theft Auto 6 in droves, but that's Grand Theft Auto 6. That doesn't mean that every AAA game that comes out is going to have the same selling power as that. And of course, that just means that many more games will get less sales because the price has gone up. And unless they adjust making fantastically great games again, it won't matter what price they sell, they won't sell them. Dragon Age the Veilguard would have been a poor game at £50, and it will be a poor game to spend £100 on. It doesn't really matter how much it costs. If it's costing more than a few pounds, it's not something that most people are going to want to spend money on. The same with Concord, the same with Forspoken, etc, etc. So it's a shame that gaming's got like this. It's a shame that gaming is probably the most greedy industry in the world, where gaming companies, and I'm thinking mainly AAA companies, are completely focused on whatever they want to do, have no interest in the gamers, have no interest in consumers, and will think of any way they can to scam money off people, however they do it, and then think they can just claw it back any way they want. But that's how it is. And unfortunately, I think, and I thought this is my exact thought the minute I saw this £100 thing mentioned, $100 thing, is that if it's been mentioned, it will happen. It may not happen with Grand Theft Auto 6, but it will happen because the gaming industry, as we know, is greedy and stupid, and they don't care what they do. That's been proven with woke, that's been proven with live service games, that's been proven with all the DLCs and online content and mini microtransactions, whatever that is, I just made it up. So we know that they don't care what they do if they think they'll make money, so they will do it because it's been mentioned, and once it's mentioned, it's almost certain to happen, which is awful for gamers. It's not necessarily awful for me, but it's awful for gamers, and as a gamer, I feel awful for everybody who's bought any game that's woke or rubbish or bad, and who's wants to buy a new game that's more than it should be because it's wrong. And I've been annoyed when I bought a game from the PlayStation Store sale and it's £5, and it's been poor, and I thought, well, that's a waste of £5. And you can Google, and that's the same other thing about these £100 games, or even £70 games. You can check out games loads of times in reviews, and you can never be quite sure whether you're going to like them or not. So a £100 game that you'll never be 100% sure you like, unless it's absolutely, like I said, Grand Theft Auto, an absolutely dead cert franchise, no one's going to pay that money for it unless they've got money to burn. Anyway, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. More crazy gaming news next time. Take care for now.